Alien Earth Episode 7 vindicates everything that I've been saying. This show unfortunately took a real bad turn here and ultimately has gone to shit. Unfortunately it has. Now, it was always on the borderline, on the cusp, but I was enjoying it as a massive Alien fan, and most people watching were enjoying it as Alien fans or hating it because they're Alien fans. There was sort of no in between, but then you have other people who just enjoy sci-fi and were really enjoying it. And that is fine. If you enjoy a sci-fi, this could be quite good. But unfortunately, when you slap that Alien IP on and you've got to adhere to sort of prior lore and canon and timelines and events in the past and the future, then you put it all together and the math isn't mathing here. So I'm not going to review the episode. I'm just going to talk to you about the episode and what I liked and what I didn't like. And there's a lot in this series that I did like. So from episodes 1 to 4, I was enjoying quite a lot. I was enjoying Morrow's story, Kirsh's story. I liked sort of what Boy Kavalier was doing. I hate the actor and I hate Boy Kavalier as a character, but what Prodigy were doing, what they were trying to accomplish. I didn't like all the forced sort of Peter Pan references that have suddenly gone to almost nothing. I didn't like all the different tones we were getting within all the episodes and the environments. Some environments were amazing. The next environments didn't feel very alien or sci-fi at all. Then we had sort of Blade Runner vibes. The show's been a complete mess from that standpoint, but that's fine. That's sci-fi. A lot of sci-fi can be like that. Whereas this, I thought, didn't know what lane it was in. And that, again, totally fine for me. I was able to look past those things. Things I wasn't able to look past was the timeline. Wasn't able to look past things like Wendy being able to communicate with the Xenomorph, but we heard from episode 4, Noah Hawley basically said, no, she can't, she just picks up the frequency. Well, fast forward 3 episodes, we can guarantee and tell you that that is exactly bullshit. We knew as fans this was going to happen, and this is not where we wanted the franchise to go. I say I'm leaning on a majority that I speak to, so this is a very small sample of people, but I think anyone with any sort of alien mindset or anyone who likes the franchise isn't going to be a fan of Wendy talking to the Xenomorph. These are not creatures that you communicate with. Why? We've always thought of them as like a hive mind, and that's the way they think with a queen, and the best interest is the hive and survival. So what business would they have talking to Wendy? I mean, in this episode, it's so stupid. Like, it is so stupid, the communication and the dialogue that Wendy's having with this Xenomorph. And by the way, she's on a research facility and not once has anybody asked her, oh, what is the alien saying to you? What's the Xenomorph saying? This is the ultimate goal when you're talking to these things. Understand where they come from, what's their purpose, and any other interesting facts? Nah, we just skip that, no problem. All we do is we see the Xenomorph as some kind of how I expected it to go. Jurassic Park, where they basically treated the velociraptors like dogs. The Xenomorph is basically like a police dog on this. Essentially, whenever she's in trouble, it's like a plot device to get her out of trouble. The Xenomorph isn't xenomorphing, it's just a man in a suit. It kind of looks like Power Rangers in a couple of the sets, and it doesn't look great, I'll be honest, but fine. Look, they don't have a huge budget, but I don't like the Xenomorph to be looking like that, and there's a reason why it's never really shown in daylight, because it kind of looks shit. Like, that's the reality. A man in a suit looks like a birthday party. Like I said, it looks like Power Rangers. It's not a good look. It's not what you want from your sci-fi. It really cheapens it down. Use some lighting, get them in the dark, like make them scary, build up some tension. This was just essentially the police dog comes in and bites all the villains. Like, absolute rubbish. Where's the survival from the Xenomorph? Take them to a nest like they have done always in the past. No, not trying to do that. Just slice and dice. Because why? Wendy is basically communicating to them via burping. It's like Men in Black when it's just saying more sugar. Like, it's kind of those kind of noises. It's ridiculous. And then we move on to the flies. Now, I mentioned the flies in other episodes, and we've got absolute shields, right, trying to defend the Alien franchise and Alien Earth. Okay, I have no problem with people enjoying the show. No problem at all. What I do have a problem with is people just talking absolute nonsense so they can say the show makes sense, or, oh, they're hybrids, they're still children, oh, the flies are entrapped and they can't escape because the material is different, and the show, it does make sense, you don't understand it, oh, you're not understanding the references, all sci-fis are stupid and silly, etc., etc. Well, no, right? This show has a very annoying trait of explaining to the audience exactly what is happening on screen. The hybrids, although are children, they're not. They have supercomputers in them, okay? They can learn things in days. There's a reason why they're able to work in the lab by themselves, yeah? You wouldn't put a toddler in a lab, right? The way I describe it is, would you trust a child to go and feed the reptiles at the zoo if they worked there? Well, A, no, they couldn't work there. Why? Because they're a child. And B, you wouldn't have a child feeding the alligator the meats and the fish or whatever it is. You just wouldn't do it. Because why? Because they're a child. So if they are able to do it, it's because they're showing all the brains and all the necessary requirements that they can do it. That is why they work in the lab. They're trusted. They're not normal people. They are computers, AI in human bodies with a child brain, just child memories. That is it. So stop pretending with all the hormone levels and all these things that these are actually still just children. They are not. Yeah, children cannot learn books in one day. Children cannot work in labs. Children cannot defeat xenomorphs, would not defeat xenomorphs. Children are scared to go and pet dogs normally, for goodness sake, unless they have dogs and they're familiar with it. So these hybrids just walking into enclosures with flies, which they would have researched, knowing that these flies eat metal, okay, they wouldn't go in there. They'd be absolutely shitting themselves. But then, of course, the flies eat metal, but they don't eat metal when they're actually in the metal cage or the metal encapsulation. They don't do it, do they? When they come out, they start eating the metal into the power supply, and these flies are extremely dangerous. But now, plot sides, they're not. They're sending two humans with basically broomsticks with a bit of electric on them, and they go in there and diffuse the flies. Yet a hybrid with super strength just gets eaten alive. It just makes like almost no sense. I know that they eat machinery and that's why they ate him, but the hybrid's very strong. It could swat that fly to the side. Literally, these hybrids jump off cliffs. We've seen it in like the first episode. Yeah, so all of that is nonsense. Plus, nobody knows what's going on. Yet, we know that they can see everything the hybrids are doing. Literally, it's been explained to us. It's not CCTV. It's they can see what their eyes are seeing. They know exactly what they're doing, who they're talking to. And boy Kavalier, his right-hand man, and Kirsh has access to this, let alone the doctors would have access to this. We know this, or the scientists, the researchers, the one they call mum, she would have access to this. So what Slightly is doing at the minute when he's taking Arthur to the beach, when he's literally allowed the face hugger to take Arthur, they would have seen this, they would have been able to check this not only on the CCTV, but via exactly what they're seeing. When they can't track them, they can just look at the camera and see what they're seeing, because that wouldn't be disabled. That's totally different to tracking. Again, all of these things aren't making sense, and it's not me just putting this in. This is the writing they have written into the show, okay? So it's not me going, this is what the technology should be able to do. Forget that. I'm going by what they have described. This show talks about things and forgets things, and that is why we're calling it bad writing. Now, Morrow, a very interesting character. What's happened to him? Why has he become stupid? What was his master plan? To turn up on the beach, catch a xenomorph, which was in Arthur, but the hybrids bring them that dead body guy. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Now, what's his plan? I don't really understand his plan. Also, with all the security, how are they turning up on the beach? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? There's no plan. Morrow's turned into an absolute idiot. Kirsh, we're not really sure what he's doing. He's one step ahead, but why? Like, we don't know why. We're going to find that out. So I completely let that storyline go. I thought Kirsh was better in the other episodes when there was more mystery about him, whereas, I don't know, he just came across as a phony school teacher, really, in this one. Boy Kavalier is clueless. He's spending all of his time, bearing in mind there is a Xenomorph on the loose. They haven't gone into any sort of quarantine or lockdown or anything like this. And before I even talk about Boy Kavalier, actually, Wendy, not only can she talk to aliens now, she can go into computer systems and deactivate locks. Like, what's going on here? Xenomorph leaves the premises. We're told this. So Boy Kavalier, instead of going, right, we're on a lockdown, we need to make sure that we capture this alien. We need to make sure we have it. No, they don't do that, do they? What they do is they wonder where the hybrids are and don't know where they are again because the tracker's gone. But, you know, they could definitely log in and just see what they're doing. Whatever. They don't do that because the plot. Then we have Boy Kavalier now talking to T-Ocellus, the eyeball, right? He sees what the eyeball has done. Like we said, they projected this earlier on when he's talked about having an equal, and we know that T-Ocellus is very intelligent. However, now that finally happens, and I have reviewed the shows or spoke about the shows in the past, and I said that this would happen, and I said that he's probably going to look to put it in a human body, and of course this is what he wants to do, and that's fine. However, how does he know it's intelligent? They basically said the T-Ocellus knew exactly what was happening and sort of had a foresight over his actions or their actions and what it would do and the knock-on effect. So you're telling me the T-Ocellus knew by banging that window the hybrid would stumble and basically have the door locked, then the flies would eat him, then get out, which would allow Boy Kavalier into the lab to talk to the T-Ocellus, and the T-Ocellus would talk to Boy Kavalier about pi and math, and then all of a sudden he would now get, or she, whatever the fuck it is, would get a human body to then escape out of this cage and this prison that it's in. Like, what's going on here? Like, the T-Ocellus is actually like the most interesting character, but meanwhile, we got Xenomorphs on the loose. We have the one that burst out of Arthur on the loose, but that gets caught. How? Don't know, but fair enough. They can track a Xenomorph, but they can't track the hybrids. Doesn't make any sense. They found a Xenomorph. Bearing in mind they are in a jungle. A Xenomorph is, 30 centimetres at this point, because it's a baby, and they find it and trap it with a net. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And you can't find the hybrids just walking around the island, and they're just... Like, what's going on? What technology are they using? It's just... I'm perplexed to what's going on. What is the plan? They're on the island. What's the plan? Wendy now wants to leave. What is the plan? We don't know why they want to leave apart from this island's horrible. Okay, so why are you leaving? What are you going to go and do? What is the plan? No one knows. There's no plot to this garbage. Yeah, it's so cheap and tacky. The Xenomorph is just walking around in the woods. I don't know, man. I did have some notes on this. What else didn't I like? To be honest, nothing really. I don't really understand what's going on with Kirsh. I don't really know what he's doing. And again, that's fine. Morrow, very annoying. I find the whole show a bit annoying at this stage now because the build-up, we now have 1 hour episodes. Let's just say it's going to be an hour and a half because they're going to tie it up. But I don't think so because there was so much filler in this one where nothing happened. So I don't understand the conclusion. I thought we're going to see good Xenomorph fight bad Xenomorph. I'm not even sure that's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. They're going to put, Wendy and Morrow in prison because we've kind of seen that forecasted within the lab. What are they going to do? I don't know. How is it going to end? I don't know. That doesn't mean it's not going to be good. But I just can't see this conclusion being good. And like I said, too many people are in the comments talking absolute rubbish about, the hybrid's this, the Xenomorph this is possible because, no, it could happen, it does happen. There is a law and canon that you should follow. Like I have said, this breaks all of it. Wendy talking and communicating to a Xenomorph is shocking. Absolutely shocking. There's no two ways about it. This episode was not only dumb, it was appalling. I missed loads because I'm rambling, didn't write down a script, which I will do, and I will review this properly. But nah, as far as I'm concerned, the show has plummeted massively. Am I still going to watch it? Of course I am. But I don't want to hate things. I love certain films and I love certain shows, and you'll see a few of those reviews on my channel. I don't just review things that I like or love or hate. I watch everything, and if I think it's worth talking about, it's either going to be really good or really bad. And unfortunately, this is quite bad. I'm not going to talk to you about things that are just, they're okay. No one's interested in hearing that's okay. Do you know what I mean? If you go out for dinner, you either want to tell people it's good or bad. You don't go, I went out for this restaurant and it's exactly what I paid for, actually. Anything nice about it? No, I spent £30 on it and it was good. Just the main course. Had a starter, paid £6, that was good. I had a dessert, paid £5. It was okay, it was absolutely fine. Okay, anything else? Nah, not going to talk about the flavours, why it was good, why it was bad. No, this is the same with reviewing stuff. It's not all about hate, it's about talking about things that are good and bad. You don't just go, it's all right. No one wants to hear that. Anyway, bored of talking about this, man. It's really annoyed me. Anyway, catch you in the next one.